Welcome back to the All Things Sports Podcast. I'm your host, June, aka Julian, aka call me what you want. Don't call me late for supper. I'm here with my co-producer, co-host, Small Town EP.
What's good?
What up?
What's good? How's everybody? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. I think the concern is from my end to yours, bro. You missed out last week. I missed, we didn't have a show last week, unfortunately, so we do apologize to the viewers and everything.
Word. I had to get some dental work
However, had to get them 4 wisdom teeth extracted. I'm sorry for sharing too much information. However, it's kind of a common procedure in this Western world. I'm not sure how things work on the Eastern end, but how did that go? How you feeling now?
I feel good, man. I heard a lot of mixed reviews about like recovery. Some people told me that they had the worst time. Other people told me it was a breeze. You know what I mean? I would say the recovery wasn't bad. I didn't have much pain, nothing like that. The worst part was just not being able to eat real food, which I'm just kind of like a week later now. I'm just kind of slowly getting back into eating. You know, something other than protein shakes, baby food, applesauce, soups. You know what I'm saying? So that was actually the worst part.
Especially when you're used to eating $40 steaks, right?
Yo, fam, the night before, my girl was like, yo, come through. My mom's making burgers on the grill. I said, yo, if y'all turn the grill on, I'm bringing a steak over.
That's hilarious. And steak he brought.
You feel me?
No, I feel that. Yo, by the way, if you're listening right now, I appreciate you. If you can, press the subscribe button, press the like button, press the share button, and share this amongst your family and friends. Let them know how you feel about the podcast. If you support, you could definitely go a long way in helping us with that. So we appreciate that. I'm also doing some sharing myself of this link. So while we wait till everybody trickle in here and start getting on, how was your week though in general? Obviously you went through with the dental procedure, but you also had a video shoot. How did that go?
Sunday? That was man, that was fun. It was stressful. The planning aspect of it, as usual, is always stressful. Nothing will go 100% right. You know what I'm saying? All of the time, or any of the time for that matter. But I remembered how fucking fun it was. Honestly, it was the artist PVT Nate. Shout out to PVT Nate, Private Nate. Feel me? That's his. Like he's calling it. Like he has content online and stuff. But this is like his first real like debut video.
Okay.
And I remember telling him like, yo, this is gonna be fun. And then, because like that morning I was mad excited. They were, models had confirmed. The fucking
right. Everything
car was you know what I'm saying. Everything was cool. Everything was cool. And
once that car cleared,
feel me, everything was cool. And once it got down to the process, we showed up to the location to shoot. Photographer showed up, videographer showed up, everybody that needed to show up showed up. I remember how much fun it was, bro. And put a little battery in me, so it's I'm excited. I'm excited. Is what I'll say.
We love to hear it, bro. I'm super excited for you, and like you said, shout out to the artist Private Nate. You guys got to work on a collab, and hopefully it comes out as you saw it. In your brain. Nothing always happens perfectly, but I think things always happen the way they should, as fucked up as it can be or as great as it can be. So shout out to y'all and everybody who was a part of that, directors, if that was yourself, cameraman, you know what I'm saying, models, car rental service agency, everybody, the location, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him for the location. So, but you back at Small Town. We see the household background behind you. I'm glad you're back at home. You know what I'm saying? And we can finally get back into this podcasting thing. It's been a week and a half or 2 weeks, if you will. And I feel like it's been a month. So I'm just glad to talk shit with you again. I tried to get Evan on this week. Shout out to Evan. If you remember, we spoke to him just before baseball season. Because he's a good one. He's a good guest to have. He talks a good game and he knows his shit. So
very knowledgeable.
We tried to get him on, but I called him today on short notice and he's like, yo, I'm going to the bar right now. I was like, yo, what you gonna watch? He's like, I don't know, whatever national game is on. You gotta love it though. So shout out to him. Shout out to the Knicks. I'll say this. Shout out to the Knicks. They got another win tonight, and three of their young guys, Toppin, Quickly, and Grimes, scored over 30 points. All shot, I think, over 55% or 54% from the field, something like that. So you gotta love it. The energy here in New York City is immaculate right now. I mean, if you're a New York fan, I don't consider myself one. I do, however, have one professional team in New York, and I'm proud to say that I am a New York Liberty fan. I will be attending my first WNBA game at Barclays this spring. So I'll tap in with the Liberty and Breonna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
shout out to the women.
That being
shout
said,
out to the ladies.
Yeah, for sure. With that being said, shouting out to the ladies, congrats to the LSU
Facts.
women's basketball team.
Facts.
You know, they got the dub. They got the dub in the championship. They got the dub in the championship versus arguably the best player in the country in Caitlin Clark, who people want to say she's the Steph Curry of the women's game. People want to say she's this, she's that, Larry Bird's daughter. That was funny. I'm not going to lie. However, what she is the damn truth. And we're going to get to see her. We're going to get to see her ball out again. However, we have to turn our attention to Angel Reese in the gang, right? I mean, obviously, all the attention went to the negativity surrounding. It went to the race war that people tried to spark and did successfully, unfortunately. However, you know us at the All Things Sports podcast, man. Like, we're not here for the clickbait. We're not here for, you know, just
the
to
messy things,
react to what we're saying. Nah, man. You know, we funny with it. We funny with it. We gonna get our jokes off. Don't get me wrong, but we're not gonna sit here and just try to drag people and bring down the people that are doing better, right? Or good like us. So shout out to Angel Reese. Shout out to Alexis Morris. Shout out to Jasmine Carson, Kateri Poole, LaDazia Williams, Flau'jae Johnson, Lastair Poa, Emily Ward, Samaya Smith, Armani Bartlett, Izzy Bezelman, Elisa Williams. And not most importantly, I won't say, not to cut you off, but Kim Mulkey as well. We have to shout out head coach Kim Mulkey because she's a legend in the game. The drip is there. She came
she was
to LSU,
dripped out
in 2 seasons, she's brought championship success to LSU. Obviously, she's won 2 at Baylor, and you know this looks like the start of something special. LSU was able to take down UM. Right, we wanted to see our girls go and make the Final Four, but you got to give credit. LSU did their thing and they dominated. They played the big girl game and deservedly won that championship. It was over. It felt like at halftime, and then Caitlin Clark goes on a little run here. Iowa starts hitting shots in the third, but it was too much to muster for Iowa and
unsustainable.
It's funny. I thought, yeah, unsustainable for sure. I thought one of the funny things about it was the pregame locker room. They showed High School Musical being played in Iowa's locker room, and then you go to LSU's locker room and they're playing "Set It Off" by Lil Boosie. So, like, shout out to them girls, man. They're some dogs. What you got? I cut you off.
No, you good. I love the tweet when Jasmine Carson was going off. Someone tweeted, yo, Ice Spice on LSU right now is going crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, the internet will find a way to make some shit funny that like has no intention of being funny, but the universe just works that way. Yeah.
We also haven't been on the podcast since MLB opening day. Shout out to the MLB for starting again. I've been in New York since last season. I can officially say I've been in New York a whole off season. I went to the Yankees-Orioles game. It was like the last series of the season in early October, I think it was I think it was early October. And we're here now at opening day, and we've got a whole 5-6 games of baseball have been played. I think it's been 5. When this drops, you guys listen, we'll be through 6 to 10, you know what I'm saying? 10, 11. And we'll even talk about some of those games later down the line. However, I do want to talk about in a little bit, you know, what you've seen the start of baseball, the smell of grass in the air. You know what I'm saying? Spring is here, so we'll touch on that. But let's just get right into this NBA talk. The playoffs are here. You know, we can pretty much reach out and grab the play-in tournament. I think it starts April 11th, if I'm not mistaken, the play-in tournament.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I'm really, really excited to see Miami, Atlanta, Toronto, Chicago, possibly the Lakers, possibly the Clippers. They play tonight, by the way. We'll keep tabs on that game. That's a big game there. New Orleans Pelicans, Minnesota Timberwolves, Oklahoma City Thunder. These teams are going to be scraping, scrapping, battling for that final 2 spots in the playoffs. And for the Eastern Conference, I'll say this. Y'all going to have to play Boston and Milwaukee. Ain't looking too good. For the West, you know, there's a chance. You know, I mean, the Grizzlies and the Nuggets, I think, are 2 teams that we're expecting to win their first round matchups. However, wouldn't be shocked, in my opinion. I wouldn't be shocked if I saw one of them go down. I'd be shocked if I saw Denver lose to OKC or Minnesota. I wouldn't be as shocked if Denver or Memphis lost to the Lakers, Clippers, or the Pelicans. That's just me. As it stands right now, the Lakers and the Clippers are at 6th place, kind of tied. I think the Clippers have the tiebreaker over them right now, but they play tonight, as I mentioned, at 10:30. So with this game having such big implications, and Braun, Vanderbilt, AD all having the go, they're on the active list. They will play. What do you see tonight? You know, do you think the Lakers can finally beat, like, because obviously we didn't put any money. I didn't put any money on this game. I don't know if you did, but do you see the Lakers being able to finally beat the Clippers after what? This is like 9 straight or so?
I think that there's a young man by the name of LeBron James on that Lakers team, and
fairly young.
Yeah, when that switch goes on, that switch goes on. I do think that it's a tall task coming on a back-to-back. You know, with the injury prone,
hey, yo.
just coming off a back-to-back part. And with the injury-prone team that you have, you know what I mean? Like, this is a big game because, I mean, we discussed it off air. You win this game, you get an entire week off before the playoffs start. You know what I mean? If you make the playoffs. Like, you get that play-in week off. You're good. You know? You get the rest that those players need. Granted, you know, the play-in is still a chance. You know, it's a chance at where you want to be and what you want to get to. But knowing who LeBron is and you know the player that he is and the competitor that he is, he's I think they leave it all on the floor tonight. I do see the Lakers winning tonight personally. To answer the question, long-winded answer, yes.
No, and I'll say this: you are good for a long-winded answer when it comes to things like that, those type of questions, and I appreciate that because, you know, we don't want small talk. It's small town, not small talk. Whenever I introduce them, it's small town EP, 3 up, 3 down. It is not small talk EP. This man talks a big game, but he backs it up. So it's always appreciated. And I'll do the small talk here. Yeah, I think the Lakers win. No, but to go back to the point you alluded to, LeBron is in that mode. And you know, we talked about it earlier in the group chat. Shout out to the Locksmith group chat. I wanted to throw this in there real quick because I mentioned I wouldn't be technically surprised if the Pelicans beat the Denver Nuggets or the Grizzlies in the first round. Like, obviously, if they beat the Grizzlies, I'd be a little surprised, okay? But it wouldn't be the most damning thing if I seen it. When I just checked the group chat, 909, shout out to 909. I don't even have his number saved, but 909 be having the locks. 909 be getting to the bread, and you need to tap in with 909 in the Locksmith chat. That's all I'm giving you. You got to do the rest of the legwork. However, he just said that the Pelicans were down 15, and now they're up 4 with the quickness. They hit just like 5 3 straight. So I mean, hey, when they're hot and Brandon Ingram's playing as a 31 point per game player, they're a tough out. And I don't think Denver or Memphis wants to see that team in the first round. Granted, the West is much easier than the East this year. However, I still think there's going to be some tough first round matchups there. All right, so I think the Lakers Clippers thing was the biggest thing tonight. I know Milwaukee was playing Chicago, Toronto's playing Boston, Dallas and Sacramento leads us into Dallas. This is the bigger portion of the show we'll get into as far as the NBA and the Dallas Mavericks missing the playoffs. Technically, they're still in it, still alive. However, sitting at the 11th seed at 37 and 42, it's not looking too promising for their playoff hopes. They only had a 6% chance as of yesterday, Tuesday.
Word.
I think their playoff chances probably went down from then. They're winning right now. They're beating the Kings right now, 88-92. That's a close one. We'll keep an eye on that because I'm sure if they lose this game, their chances are pretty much out the window. But OKC plays the Jazz tomorrow, and they got the day off today. So, we won't be able to see how that seeding moves as we speak. However, Kyrie Irving gets traded for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and I think some picks. Jalen Brunson signs with the New York Knicks in the offseason and gets a max extension or max contract that the Mavericks didn't offer him. And this is a Western Conference team, Western Conference Finals, Game 7, right? Or Game 6. Was it Game 6?
Yeah.
Game 6, Western Conference Finals, to possibly not even getting in the play-in. And, Kyrie Irving didn't bring distraction to Dallas. I don't believe that's part of it or what the case is.
Absolutely not.
He didn't bring a defensive backpack either. And having him and Luka play as atrocious defense as he plays, alarming. And then you trade away your two, wing defenders, Spencer Dinwiddie being a bigger guard, but Finney-Smith being able to guard that 4 position, 3 position, 2 position. It leaves you very, very empty-handed. And we had questions on the Dallas Mavericks as far as what they were going to be able to do. How can Kyrie help this team? Oh, they're going to be so dangerous in the playoffs. Who's going to be taking the last shot of the game? And guess what? We saw a lot of answers to those questions in the 20 games they've played. We see that Kyrie and Luka both don't know who they want taking the shots. We see that they do have trouble on defense, and we don't know how they're going to defend those teams with perimeter scorers. We see that their depth and their lack of big men are hurting them right now. And I got a question. Is Christian Wood hurt, or what the hell happened to him? Because I thought he was supposed to be some big success, big key to this team, and he's a guy that you don't hear his name unless you follow the Mavericks on a nightly basis. And guess what? I don't. And I don't follow a lot of teams on a nightly basis, right? Like, yeah, I do a sports podcast, and yeah, I have to have knowledge on certain shit, but give me a break. I'm not going looking for Christian Wood's stats, right? Sometimes I got to go out my way to find Anthony Davis's stats, and that's alarming. However,
he has to go out his way to find his jersey sometimes.
That's
a different conversation too.
Anthony Davis, that's crazy. Anthony Davis has been playing well as of late, and I do give him and the Lakers credit from being an 11th seed to now the 6th, possibly the 5th seed by the end of tonight's show, or by the end of tonight, I should say, because the show is going to finish before the game.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to shout out a friend and his podcast. It's a project about nothing. Brandon Cho, you can follow him at Logo Cho. I don't know. There's like I don't know if it's _logo_Cho or just logo_Cho. Follow him, tap in with him and them boys. They do their podcast. It's two other guys, and forgive me, but I don't remember the name off top. But I do have communication with Brandon here and there, so that helped me remember that part. However, I do know podcast is a project about nothing. I believe they drop weekly episodes. If I'm not mistaken, on Fridays. They got good camera work and all that sort of thing. So tap in with them boys. I do want to challenge something he said, Brandon, on his podcast, on his latest episode, I think it was. And I'll talk to him about this. I'm not just going to talk about him and not let him defend himself. But, I see shit on First Take. I see shit on Twitter. I see shit on the game I'm watching, and I bring it up to the podcast attention, and we'll have a conversation about it. I respect their outlet and some of their views. So I'll definitely be able to bring their takes up here and put them on the table for us to divide and think about. Now, they did a top 10, and this is totally inspired by them. We're going to do All Things Sports Podcast, top 10 players going into the postseason. So shout out to A Project About Nothing. Shout out to Brandon over there and them boys for giving me some inspiration to want to create a list with me. They did theirs individually. I asked E how he wanted to do it. Should we do it individually or should we compile something together? Shout out to SP too. Small Town SP. Y'all go follow him if you need your beats done. You need your engineering and all that. Tap in with him. I already know he's there showing all the love. We appreciate him. But we had a nice little argument before we jumped on a live doing this top 10 list and trying to place players in certain places. However, going back to my original point, they did their list. It inspired me to make All Things Sports Podcast list. And just know this list was tough to order. It was tough to order. We knew the 10. We knew the 9. It was tough to order. And then, who we were cutting out, it was interesting. So let's start off with number 10, top 10 players. You know what? Since we're live and we can do this, I'm going to do this before I'm going to cut myself off. The reason I brought all this up too is I wanted to challenge the fact that Brandon said he would rather have Anthony Davis right now over Paul Gasol because the conversation of Bron, I guess, Kobe came up. I know Brandon's a big Kobe fan. And there's a lot of those people. And hey, you know what? Like, if that's your guy, that's your guy. I'm a D-Wade fan. And I ride for D-Wade. D-Wade, first ballot Hall of Famer. Thank you for actually bringing that up. Yeah. Because we'll talk about it and the stats, and we'll get into that closing thoughts. Stay with us. However, I don't understand his perspective on why he would prefer Anthony Davis over Paul Gasol. I get the skill set and I get the athleticism. But if we're being honest, and this isn't, again, he's not here to defend himself, so I don't want to make it into that. But from my perspective, I mean, you look at a Hall of Famer in Paul Gasol, and not to say, is Anthony Davis a Hall of Famer? You know what I mean? Like that's just a whole nother conversation and topic. And I don't even want to answer that right now. But the fact that he took Anthony Davis over Paul Gasol, I think it was more so for the sake of the argument because Kobe's teammate was Paul Gasol and LeBron's is Anthony Davis. I definitely, whenever I have him on the show, because he will be gracing the show, I will go grace their show when I go to Florida in May. I definitely love to have that conversation with them. So shout out to them boys again. Project About Nothing. Let's get into All Things Sports Podcast. Top 10 players heading into the postseason 2023. EP, who we got at 10?
That boy Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It was and we had to have a conversation about it when we put him in there. Like, it was It was between him and a couple of other notable mentions. But his production, his efficiency, the way he does it, the finesse that he does, that he moves around, his vision on the court, and it goes unmentioned a lot. Is one of the other things. One of the standout qualities, I guess, or not, that's not quality that necessarily has anything to do with him, but it really does go unmentioned. And obviously, part of it has to do because of where he plays. He's not in a major market city. He's in Oklahoma City. So but definitely. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, number 10 on the ATS.
Yo, E, by the way, did you get to mute? Did you get to mute the you know what I'm talking about? Because I shout out to Ray, shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to Jay, shout out to Marcus, shout out to Ray. If you tapping in with us, we love and appreciate y'all boys. And we will be reading the comments. I wasn't even looking here, so don't think I was ignoring. I'm never too cool for school. I just
I got that feedback too, and I was I thought that I did. I was trying to. This is actually been working on that for the past couple minutes because I got the private feedback. Shout out to my boy Jordan watching the stream as well.
Hey. So I mean, we'll figure that out. Hopefully, if not, hey, by next week, we'll be getting better.
Have to have a test run again.
If you could stick with us throughout the stream, we appreciate you. Ease echoing. All right, cat's out the bag. All right, he caught us. Bad quality. Guess what? We still speaking facts. All right. Top 10 players. Number 10, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And if I'm not mistaken, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander beat out Ja Morant. Is that right?
He did. He absolutely did.
He beat out Ja Morant. Let's give some honorable mentions for players that didn't make it. I'll say Julius Randle is one of those players that one could definitely argue putting him maybe over Shai Gilgeous, right? For what he's done in New York success. And guess what? I'm not going to be mad at you if you think Julius Randle is number 10 over Shai Gilgeous over Ja Morant. I'm not mad at you, but make your own list. That's all I'll say. Devin Booker is on that honorable mentions list. De'Aaron Fox is on that list, the left out list. James Harden's on that left out list, right? So there's some guys that we had to make some tough decisions on. But again, to point out what E was saying, we like Shai's game, what he's done for Oklahoma City. They're a playing team, but a lot of people expected them to not even contend for the playoffs, especially after hearing, their first pick overall, Chet Holmgren, is out for the year before the season even started with the Miss Frank. So shout out to Shai and what he's been able to do. All Things Sports Podcast, top 10 player heading into the NBA playoffs 2022-23 season. At number 9, EP, what do we got?
That boy Donovan Mitchell, the almost Miami Heat player.
Spider. So this is one that okay. So EP, I will okay, so shout out to Jay in the chat. He said he wouldn't add Randall. Knicks' whole offense owe it to Brunson. And guess what? Again, caught me red-handed. EP, I'm willing, if you're willing, to take out SGA and put Jalen Brunson right there. I totally didn't even think of Jalen Brunson because I thought of Julius Randle. I thought of the Knicks and I thought of Julius Randle, IQ, and the guys. I that's on me.
Yeah,
that's on me.
I'm all for it.
Jalen Brunson is definitely a top 10 player in these playoffs. And yes, I do think Donovan Mitchell is still better than Jalen Brunson. Knicks fans can argue all they want. They can hate all they want. They can say what they want. I haven't seen enough of this JB to think that, Donovan Mitchell isn't the better player. And I'll take Donovan Mitchell's defense over Jalen Brunson as well. Now, shout out to Jay, man. That was a save right there. Because if I didn't have Brunson in this, heads would have been come for. I'll say that. But So Brunson at 10, Mitchell at 9. We love Mitchell's game. What the Cavs have been able to do all season, locking down home court in the first round. They look like they're gonna play the Knicks in this first round. And Donovan Mitchell, along with Darius Garland and Mobley over there, they've been able to do some special things in Cleveland. So we got Donovan Mitchell at 9. E, can you tell us our number 8th player?
The assassin. Kevin Durant. Number 8. KD. I think we're going to get a lot of flack for that one. I think a lot of people are going to be upset about that because I think a lot of people hold
thinking KD. He's low, or
nah, thinking that he should be a lot higher on the list.
I think that's what I'm saying. Thinking he's low on the list.
Oh yes, exactly. Yeah, my fault. A lot of people, including me, I'm not gonna lie, I hold KD in a high regard, but when we get to the top of the list, you understand why he had to be, where he had to be.
Yeah, definitely, and also I think
it's no shame. It's a top 10 list. Like it's like you are the creme de la creme.
For sure. And KD, we're not talking about this is top 10 players going into the playoffs right now this year, and the criteria, I guess, to make a little more sense, we took their team's overall success, we took their individual play, and we took a sprinkle of who they are in the playoffs already, because we've seen that before, right? And I think that speaks to Jalen Brunson. That's last year. That speaks to Spida, always, coming in and balling with Utah in the playoffs and putting up numbers. And with Kevin Durant's lack of play time this year, I think that took a hit on his rank and made him go down the list. But fuck it, that's where we got him. He's still a top 5 player in the game today, if you ask me, when healthy, but he's not always healthy. He jumped around teams again, and he found his way at 7. I think that's still right. That's his number. Oh no, that at 8. At 8. Can I announce number 7?
Please be my guest. It would only be right.
Listen, you see me smiling. Jimmy Butler at number 7. Jim VP. A lot of him being at number 7 is based on his ability to hit the switch when the playoffs come on. Like, this guy turns into an animal. This guy turns into someone. He looks like a different player at times in the playoffs versus his coasting regular season, work. And he arguably could have been an all-star this year had he not missed as much time as he did, and probably put up a little bit better numbers, but he still had an amazing season. I don't like him in the top 6 conversation for obvious reason. When we get there, we'll get there. But when we look at the bottom 7, that bottom 4, Jimmy, KD, Mitch, and Brunson, I mean, as much as I'll take KD every day on my team, I'm a Heat fan, and I know what Jimmy Butler is going to bring to the game on the offense and defensive end, as far as hustle, as far as playing with sheer willpower, right? And KD is going to ball out if his shot is hitting. If his shot's not hitting, he can affect the game in multiple ways. He can, and he has. But if his shot's not hitting, the effect of the game is going to be different in all those other aspects. When Jimmy Butler's shot is not hitting, you can still feel the presence of Jimmy Butler.
On the court, absolutely.
And I think it's more than the presence felt when Kevin Durant's shot is not hitting. And guess what? Kevin Durant's shot doesn't not hit. It barely ever not hits, right? So it's hard to say that, but we've seen
easy money sniper for no reason.
That's true. That's very true. Well, Jimmy gets the edge here, and we'll go to 6.
Number 6. LeBron James.
Let me say something.
Like
no. Listen. Number 6. You heard us. Number 6. And I say that with this face because Is LeBron really the 6th best player going into these playoffs, or is he a little higher on that list?
Come on, man.
Shout out to SP again. I'm gonna say this. Shout out to Strix. He had a lot of influence on Bron being at 6, and I respect his opinion. So we left him there. EP agreed at the decision we come to.
Absolutely did.
It was a tough one, though. It was definitely a tough one. Now, listen, you ask me, who do I want to go into a playoff series with? I'm taking Bron right now. Year 20, I'm taking Bron. Now, all right, I'm taking Giannis, and I'm taking Tatum, then I'm taking Bron. But and I might take Curry. But you get what I'm saying. 6 is a little low for me. However,
I agree.
He missed a big part of the end of the season. He averaged over 30 a game, over 32 a game for a long stretch, and probably would have got the scoring title this year had he not got hurt. However, them 35 minutes a game came back to bite him at this age. And yeah, I mean, he finds himself in year 20 at 6th best player in the league going into the playoffs. I mean, come on. This is where it gets tricky, because at 5, we put Joker. I said Joker. Jokic. Right. The Joker. Nikola Jokic, arguably back-to-back MVP. He has a great case.
If it happens.
He has an amazing case for it. I think we've seen Joel Embiid solidify his argument versus those Nuggets and versus the Celtics. But Joker nonetheless has put together an amazing campaign this year. He has the Nuggets at number 1 in the West, and he's just continued his play on from last year. It's like, it's not like he's getting any worse. He's getting better. So if the MVP got better this year, I mean, shit, the new MVP better be balling for real, because it's not like Jokic took any steps back. But with respect to the top 3, we had to leave Jokic out of it. And we seen, the Warriors played the Nuggets last year with that same MVP who was a back-to-back MVP at the time, and they weren't able to really cause any trouble for Golden State. And yes, it was destiny, and Curry was on a mission last year. However, MVP, right? So I'm going to put him at that 4th spot. We're going to put him at that 4th spot and move forward. Can you tell me, Ethaniel, the number 3 player on this All Things Sports podcast, top 10 players going into the postseason 2023?
Oh, he is a member of the Brotherhood, our Brotherhood. That boy Jason Tatum.
Duke.
He's a Dookie.
I'm sorry. We skipped out. I was so excited for that top 3 that we skipped out on number 4.
I thought you mentioned. I thought you kind of like
okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
I don't want to say skip over
disrespect them like that.
Yeah.
We can't disrespect them like that, right?
We gotta give them a
let's
second.
act like we didn't see that, right? And I got a little hype. The intro was crazy. Listen, Ethaniel, who's number 4 on the All Things Sports podcast, top 10 players heading into the playoffs 2020.
Boy Wardell.
That's the name I was expecting.
Wardell. So I'm gonna call him Wardell.
Shout out to Steph. Shout out to Mama Curry. Shout out to Dell, and his brother Seth, right, for giving him that competition. Man, what more to say, right? Obviously, the Warriors season hasn't gone as planned. They've lost out on Andrew Wiggins for a major part of the season. There was a report that finally came out about Andrew Wiggins' status, saying that he may be rejoining the team soon, and he's been dealing with his father's health complications. So we do want to send our regards to the Wiggins family and hope and pray that his father can be in better health, and that Wiggins can rejoin his team and get back in shape to help them on a playoff run, because guess what? They've been, if not the worst team on the road, one of the worst teams on the road this season. However, I think the playoffs, I believe that it's 0-0 once they start. I don't put, this guy above this guy or this team above this team just because of their record. Everybody's got a fresh slate. Like, don't get me wrong, the 2-8, the 1-8, the 2-7s, right? Those are still going to be kind of what they are. However, if we see that Grizzlies Lakers, if we see that right now the Warriors are at 5, so we could see a Warriors 5-4 matchup, and that'll be an intriguing one. But what Steph Curry has still been able to do this season, he missed some time as well. I do want to acknowledge that. However, like that weekend that he came back and beat the Bucks on Saturday primetime, and then right after that had another big game. It's off the top of my head, I lost it, but he had another big game on that Monday. So shout out to that boy. We already know what he can do. You called him out, the assassin, and he can literally beat your team himself. So do I think he's a little low on this list? Quite possibly. But shout out to our boy from the Brotherhood at number 3, our Dookie, Jason
Tatum. I mean, just to see what he's done with the franchise since he's gotten there. I mean, the consistency, the effort, the heart that he shows day in and day out, the commitment level that he shows day in and day out, and then the improvement that he continues to display. I mean, it speaks for itself. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, 30 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 4.5 assists all season.
Quiet.
This isn't something
quietly
got hot. Yeah, he didn't just get hot. He didn't just, like, Boston is the number 2 seed in the East. They are a 50-win team, and they've done it, like you said, kind of quiet. Like, the Bucks went on their 15-game win streak. The Sixers been, real hot. They have a MVP possibly on their team, and the Celtics have just been avoiding all the drama that came with their coach mess. They've been avoiding the Jaylen Brown drama, and they've continued to win and push through. They're sitting at 55-25, 3 games out of first place, so they'll lock in that second seed, and it looks like they're going to see the winner of the Miami-Atlanta play-in game, right?
Yep.
It's kind of what it looks like. If that's the game, because Toronto and Atlanta are separated by 1 game. However, I do see Atlanta holding off for that 8th seed, and I'm hoping that the Heat can play Atlanta over Toronto for the play-in. Now, at number 2.
I'm not going to lie. I know I said my MVP was Joker about 2 weeks ago. I think in those 2 weeks a lot has changed. And my opinion has changed. Number two, that boy Joel Embiid, who right now for me, quoting Doc Rivers, the MVP race is over.
Oh, please. Listen, I think I don't know if classless is the word. I don't want to go reach so far. Sound like a Karen.
I think as a coach, it's a little classless.
It's a little distasteful. You have a coach like Mike Malone, number 1 in the West, and he's like, the way they're treating this MVP race and comparing and saying this, saying that, I think it's nasty. It's annoying. It's gotten to be something I don't even want to hear about anymore. Like, we're here to win games and get to the playoffs. We got bigger goals and we want to win a championship. And then you got Mr. Raspy voice over here. He's like, yeah, it's a guy. Wait, did you see with 52? He had more than half of our team's points in the first half.
Sounded like Drake after they won a championship.
We did this. Look around.
I'm not. What did he say? I'm not. He said something. He was like, yo, nah.
This wasn't here before we were here. We did this.
Yo, that's a great video right there. I'm not going to lie. That's one of Drake's best videos on live. Just screaming at the top of his lungs.
Raw emotion.
Just raw, straight raw emotion. He felt like Kobe right there, man. Shout out to the Mamba. I mean, I guess that leaves number 1, obviously, the Greek Freak, the best player in the league right now. He's not going to win the MVP. I think it's the LeBron treatment, but he's just getting better and better each year as well. And the NBA doesn't seem to have an answer for the quote-unquote bagless whatever you want to call him, bro. He's downhill. He in your chest. He's at the rim. He's getting rebounds. He's passing the ball.
He's playing basketball.
He's scoring 30 a game.
Facts.
And he's first in the East. He went on a 15-game win streak this season without Chris Middleton most of the season. What's the excuse? Ain't none. And guess what? Like, I had a lot of animosity toward the Bucks team that I've released in the last year and a half. You know what I also realized is that James, our ex-co-host, he is a Bucks fan, obviously, major Bucks fan. And I think just I'm a uber competitive person, you know that. And any kind of moment I get to talk shit or like be on the opposing side of things for shits and giggles, like I like that. That's how I strive. And so James isn't necessarily like that, but he was a Bucks fan, and the Bucks are a winning team in the NBA, and it just rubs me the wrong way where it's like I'm a Heat fan, right? And y'all beat us, y'all swept us, we beat y'all. There's, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, I wanted Giannis to come to Miami. He stayed in Milwaukee. It just, there's a lot of tension that I felt with this Bucks team, but it's since been kind of released, and I've over the years grown to appreciate who Giannis Antetokounmpo has become as a player and as a person. He's, if not the coolest, nicest guy in the league. And at the end of the day, he's the meanest dog on the court. Like, this guy will literally give your team problems for 48 minutes if he has to. And he can do it at the highest level with the best of them. So he's clearly the best player in the league. I'm going to say that again. However, Joel Embiid is having a monster season, and we can't not acknowledge that. What he's able to do as a 7-footer, you know what I mean, and put up 52 points, turn around fadeaways, jumpers, pull up threes, spot up threes, like it's insane. And on the defensive end, he helps with rim protection, and he can guard in the low post as well. So he's deserving of the award if he gets it, Embiid. But Giannis is definitely number one on our list. So thank you, E. We were able to compile that. If you was left off the list, or if your favorite player was left off the list, I mean, like I said, make your own list.
Make your own list.
That's ours. I'm gonna go real quick. All Things Sports Podcast. Top 10 players heading into the playoffs 2023. At 10, Jalen Brunson. At 9, Donovan Mitchell. At 8, Kevin Durant. At 7, Jimmy Butler. At 6, LeBron. At 5, Joker. At 4, Steph Curry. At 3, Jason Tatum. At 2, the MVP, arguably, Joel Embiid. And at number 1, the NBA's best, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think that's a pretty solid list right there. And I'm glad that, again, Jay put in the comment that Jalen Brunson, he put his name out there, because I totally forgot about him. And I would be whatever the word you want to put in there, insert that word. That would be me if I put SGA or Ja Morant over Jalen Brunson. So thank you. Now, can we talk about MLB opening week? It's finally back. We've already made money with the parlays. First Five God EP is here. You're looking right at him. Less risk, more profit is going up this year. Shout out to Gio. Shout out to Ant. These guys are going to win you some money. I'm trying to put y'all on. I be putting y'all on to a lot of things, man. And this is a lot of free promo I give out. I do not ask for nothing. I just love to shout the homies out. So listen, less risk, more profit, LRMP. You hear it here first. Tap in. Shout to the Locksmith chat, 909.
Shout out to 909, bro.
I'm not gonna hold you, bro.
The other day, this man put on parlays was crazy.
I be competing with him in my own head, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I be like, yo, I gotta make sure I have the lock.
He balled out. Like, yeah, he balled out right there. Yeah. Nah, that's facts, bro. What I love about the chat is that we all put each other on. Nobody be, you know what I'm saying? Nobody be gatekeeping picks. That's not what we're there for. I don't bet like that. I don't gamble like that. But obviously, I spent a little bit here and there this week, and I won some bread. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to this man you're looking at right here. He's smiling in your screen. I wanted to talk about opening week though, things that you saw that stood out to you. What you're excited for going into this long season. Because guess what? As excited as we are right now, these games, we're not even in the dog days of summer, right? This is literally April baseball. But guess what? All Things Sports gonna have us covered all season long. It's April 5th today. You guys will be watching this, whether it's right now, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's this weekend. So we'll kind of give an outlook on the games that are going to be played this weekend. And like I said, some things that we saw. If you want to start it off, some things that maybe caught your eye or anything you wanted to point out for this MLB season so far.
I'm really excited to see this AL East race, of course, as typical as usual. But Tampa Bay, I mean, being the only undefeated team right now, and winning in the impressive ways that they're winning and decisive ways that they're winning. Run differential of 31 plus 31, like plus 31.
That's crazy.
Run differential through 6 games is wild. All right, that's I mean, you're winning by 5.0 whatever game, runs per game, like that's.
Yep.
They're scary, and obviously I have a hate for them. That's something that we have in common. We both have a particular hate for the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm excited for that. I also excited to see Texas this year. The Rangers. I think that they are going to be a team that come September, come July, we're gonna be like, oh shit, they're they're not only in the playoff race, but they are they are secure in the playoff race. They don't have to depend on anybody.
I'm glad you. I'm glad you went there. The Rangers is definitely what I was going to bring up here. One of the things I wanted to bring up. I like that team. I like that team. They got Trevor Simeon over there. They've got Corey Seager. They just signed Jacob deGrom, obviously, who it's going to tie in here. However, they got, what's his name, man? They got the rookie Jung. I think his name is Jung.
Yes,
Last name is Jung. Josh Jung, I think it is. But he's an exciting, Josh Jung, he's an exciting rookie. He just had 3 RBIs today. So this Rangers team, I definitely am. If and only if, and we can both agree here, if Jacob deGrom can stay on the mound and in the game and not on the sideline. I mean, this guy is literally, if not the best pitcher in baseball, the best pitcher in baseball. And a lot of people were questioning if he was serious when he signed with the Rays. I keep saying the Rays. When he signed with the Rangers, because they offered him the bag and they gave him the most money that probably any team was going to give him. And I don't blame him for going to Texas, but at the same time, they've got a brand new stadium. Their fans seem exciting. They just swept the Phillies, right?
Which is not anything new for the record, but because they own real estate in Philadelphia. They own real estate in Philadelphia, but they did sweep the Rays, the Phillies decisively.
I got you on that Rays Rangers right there, right? That's crazy. That's funny. The irony between the Rays being a Tampa Bay team and the Rangers being a baseball team in Texas is that the Tampa Bay Lightning did play the New York Rangers.
That is wild.
Jesus.
Shout out to the Rangers. They handled business today.
Right. Back to the Rangers of baseball from Texas. Jacob deGrom, 11 strikeouts today in a win versus Baltimore. It was a game that I was excited to pay attention to because Grayson Rodriguez makes his debut for Baltimore, and the Orioles have some prospects over there, man, with Grayson being one of them, Gunnar Henderson being another that I'm excited to watch this year. But
Henderson
Kyle Bradish
last year.
Yeah. Kyle Bradish was put on the IL for a foot sprain, so in comes Grayson Rodriguez. He goes 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts with 3.60 ERA. And, it's not the prettiest stat line for a debut. And the first inning, he got rocked for 2 runs, and like the first 4 batters or so got on base. Like it was really shaky.
Jitters.
Exactly, which is normal after that first inning, and versus hot bats at that. You know what I mean? Like Rangers came in here smoking hot off that Philly sweep. And after that first inning, he settled in. Grayson Rodriguez did. He's a tall guy. He throws it hard. He can control that command. And I think he should be proud of him, and Baltimore should be excited, to see him join that pitching rotation, that starting pitching rotation. So there's that. But DeGrom stat line for the sake of the matter was 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts.
Ooh.
I mean, talk about filth. Again, Jung did have 3 RBIs in that game. That's another young prospect rookie you can look at for the Rangers. It's going to be fun, bro. It's going to be a fun season. A lot of guys that I'm excited to, pay attention to. I will turn to the Boston Red Sox real quick. I want to bring up the fact that, we understand this year is not a contending year. We don't expect to contend so seriously. I think that, within that division race of the AL East that you're excited to look for, hey, I mean, the Rays, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox obviously stand out as the worst team of the 3, but guess what? I think there's some argument to be made for the Red Sox and some slim playoff hopes. We've got guys like Verdugo. We've got guys like Masaka Yoshida that we signed from Japan. We've got guys like Chris Sale, Corey Kluber in our rotation. We've got Rafi Devers, if you ever heard of him. Justin Turner, if you ever heard of him. And this guy who just won a World Series at age 34, Adam Duvall. Listen to this. In 21 at-bats this year, he's batting .476 with 9 RBIs, 2 home runs, and a 1.542 OPS.
He's balling.
I mean, he came straight over off that World Series, and he's like, listen, this is how we did it last year. Let's try to do this over here. I know you guys know how to win a World Series or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever the case is in Boston. But this is how you do it now, right? And he's brought that attitude, and I think that the locker room is feeding off of that as far as just the general energy. Clearly, we're not putting it on paper. We're taking losses to the Pirates here and there, but shout out to the Pirates. I'm excited to watch, the Red Sox and see how Adam Duvall can build on this campaign this year. I got the last thing I wanted to talk about as far as just kind of like random shit in baseball was that Jock Peterson. I don't know if anybody watched that today, but Jock Peterson hit a ball 109.1 miles per hour down the first base line, and the first baseman, Andrew Vaughn for the Chicago White Sox, goes, puts a glove out. It's an out if the ball was hit any softer, but at 109, that ball went smoking through the glove and literally had him
looking like, yo,
where'd the ball go? What just happened? And it broke the baseball glove. So I've never seen that. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but
never seen that.
109 mile per hour baseball just smoked through a first base glove.
And
you know what? First base has the toughest glove other than the catchers. You know what I mean? Like those gloves are really webbed. What you say?
It's funny. I literally sent the text and that happened. I was like, I've never seen that before. And then the commentator was like, oh yeah, I've seen that. I've been in this industry for years. And I'm like, damn, bro.
He's in his 66th year in the broadcast booth. I'd imagine you've seen that before. There's a couple things you've seen before. Oh man.
The other thing that I want to mention was the weekly national holiday for the MLB season.
Oh man.
National Patrick Corbin Day. Every week, set your alarm. If this motherfucker's starting, find a way to fade him. Find a way. Doesn't necessarily have to be the other team to win. It could be the over in the first 5. It could be the other team's team total. It could be his strikeouts under. don't hits allowed over. Find a way to fade him because it's gonna cash. I promise. National Patrick Corbin Day. We cash today and we cash on opening day. So I got an alarm set, man.
And we cash next week.
And we cash next week. I'll see you guys then.
We got to start a hashtag, Patrick Corbin Day, hashtag we cash.
We cash.
That's very rude, but that's listen, it's all in the name of the game.
Oh,
I did
man.
want to point out, talking about we cash, some of the parlays that we've cashed in on this baseball season. It's really early. Obviously, Gio from Less Risk, More Profit. You're going to see him make some appearances here on the podcast and giving his handicap and lines and all that, and his locks. However, he's more of a slow roller, slow pace guy. He wants to get more analytics before he deep dives, and that's fair because guess what? He's going to give you locks for the complete game, right? But this guy, like I said, man, I can't stress it enough. The guy that you're looking at to my right, I mean, he's the first five god. And I want to hear some of the parlays that you've cashed in on or things that you remember cashing in on in this early baseball season.
I guess we can look at the last 7 days. I pulled the tracker out in the last 7 days.
I cashed today on your lock that you gave me, which was the Atlanta Braves, Washington Nationals over 4.5 in the first five. Chicago White Sox first five money line, and what was the last leg on that?
It was over Chicago White Sox, and it was the Braves plus half a run in the first five is what it was. Braves to win or to be winning or tied after the first five. Which honestly, I saw both of those looks this morning at like 5 in the morning, bro. I was up late. I was studying some lines. I saw that over for Patrick Corbin Day. I saw the Cubs money line too, but rain out, whatever. And I saw that Braves were underdogs. They weren't favored against Miles Mikolas, who multiple times last year gave up 5, 6, 7 earned run games, and I was just like,
very
what?
questionable. Mike,
yeah, like that line got to be broken, bro. And I was like, if you're gonna give me the Braves as an underdog, I gotta throw money on it.
I have to.
I have to throw money on it.
Like the way my account's set up, it prohibits me not to not throw money. That's funny.
I know. Like I said, opening day, Patrick Corbin was playing at home against the Braves. We cashed on that. Sandy's opening day appearance down here in Miami versus the Mets didn't go as planned. He should be, I didn't look bad because, as we know, he came off of that injury in spring training. And then he got his lick back very next start yesterday. So can't be too mad at it.
What was it? A shutout?
A shutout. Yeah, man. And I mean, throughout the week, we've just been cashing. Chicago White Sox have actually been a theme for the past. We've cashed on Chicago White Sox like 3 times in the last week, so that's been a bit of a theme. Listen, stop betting NBA. Everybody stop betting NBA. NBA is over, bro. Like, unless you're a serious capper, you can really bet playoff basketball. It's trappy. It's baseball season. Get with the program.
It's baseball season. It's 2023. We bet baseball, guys.
We're betting baseball. It's been a great week. We've been cashing on. I've been cashing on hockey. We've been cashing on baseball. Baseball season just started. Really wish that Cubs game would have went today. Shout out to you, Darvish. You Darvish cashed for us yesterday. That was a great cash. Him at home against who was that? Against the against the Diamondbacks. That was great. 5-1 after 5. First 5.
I'm never putting my money on you, Darvish. I don't care how good you tell me that line looks or whatever the fuck you say. But listen, you Darvish is never getting my trust. I've seen him get smoked way too much. And look, you might know a thing or two more than me when it comes to that gambling shit, but I know more than I need to about you, Darvish.
I understand.
That's a turn off.
I understand.
Can't do it. Yo, any closing thoughts on baseball? You got anything else on baseball? I'm excited to see, man. I haven't been this
feels good,
excited
man. Yeah,
to
man, it
watch
feels good.
baseball opening week and shit.
To
Look
listen
at
to,
Jay. He said
What do you say?
we need to clean up our bullpen. Pirate series was terrible. Shout out. See, my guy sound like a Red Sox fan over here. He's a Knicks fan and a Red Sox fan. He said Braun passed the torch to Giannis. They won't say it though. They don't got to say it. We seen it. The real ones know what it is. He said we need to clean up our bullpen. The Pirate series is terrible. We're gonna have problems in that bullpen all season long. All season long as a Red Sox fan, and that's partially why it's been hard to watch these guys the last few years. Then he said Corbin under 4.5 was my first cash on opening day with the laughing emojis. That's hilarious.
Patrick Corbin.
Listen, shout out to Marcus. Top 2 in steals per game. He said Wade County.
Oh, yeah, my dog Marcus. Hey, he's one of them too, as far as what we do.
Hey,
he's in another chat of mine that he actually put together with another couple buddies called Deadbolt Locks. Shout out to the Deadbolt Locks crew. We getting active in there too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you.
Good shit. That's what's up, dog. That's what's up. I love to see people winning, man. Shout out to the Deadbolt Locks gang. Jay also said. So Jay goes, Nuggets some frauds. Always been frauds past 2 years in the playoffs. Totally agree. And fraud is a tough word. But they're definitely on the verge of being called a fraud. A first round exit this year, I mean, and there's no words for it. But even a second round exit would be pretty disappointing this year, being as though they are that number 1 seed in the West and as good as they've played all year. I think they have to make it to the Western Conference Finals, if not the damn finals. But he also said Lakers could try to lose and let Clippers take the Suns first round. Ooh, I didn't think about it that way. I didn't think about it that way. Do the Lakers want to be the 5th seed, or are they content with that 6th seed? Boy's got a point there. Boy has got a point.
I like it.
Because right now, yeah, it would be. Well, if they get to 6, it would be Sacramento. If they go down to, because right now 4-5 is Phoenix and Golden State, and Phoenix is at 44 wins, Golden State's at 42. Okay, I get what he's saying. So they can actually essentially tie for 5th with this win today. So that's what he's saying. Tie for 5th with Golden State. Okay, yeah, make a good point there. You make a good point. I don't think LeBron. Hey, listen, if we get LeBron James versus Kevin Durant in the first round of the playoffs, I mean, I'll be contento. I'll be muy contento. All right, that's some shit. That's some shit you want to watch right there. I guess we can go with the closing thoughts. Mine. I will start with the same Lakers. I think the Lakers can win a first round series. Excuse me, I'm going to switch that. If the Lakers win the play-in, the Lakers will win their first round matchup.
Ooh.
Got that?
Hey, live look right now. They're down right before the half by 16 points. But
they definitely don't want to play the Suns. That's it. They answered that question real quick. That's hilarious. I'm still standing on what I said.
Fuck with that. I don't got an EPL talk this week. Baseball kind of took the majority of my attention this week. Absolutely. But they cashed on some soccer last couple of days. EPL, I mean, we're coming around to the last corner of the season right now. A couple tournaments going on, cups going on in the middle of league stuff. You know what I'm saying? Baseball, early look tomorrow. This is live. This is first look. I'm just looking at this right now. This is, you know what I mean? I like the Padres and Braves tomorrow. No runs in the first inning. You got Spencer.
Let me get my FanDuel open. Hold on. Two good pitchers right there.
Yeah. You got Blake Snell.
You said no runs first inning?
No runs first inning. Could be sweaty because Blake Snell could get rocked, but I mean, we're talking about Blake Snell. And on the other end of that, well, not the other end, but another note. We got Nationals Rockies tomorrow. And we got Josiah Gray on the mound for the Nationals, who is on the verge of. That's another one that might have his own weekly holiday.
Another Nationals pitcher?
Another Nationals pitcher that might have a national weekly holiday. I think that's just a trend. That's what they do. We celebrate the Nationals.
Sheesh. What happened to Steven Strasburg?
Hey, good baseball tomorrow, man. You guys got Chris Sale on the mound tomorrow. Giants, White Sox, Kevin Gausman, and Jordan Lyles as far as Toronto and the Kansas City series.
I'm gonna do a weekend. I'm gonna do a weekend outlook here. So Friday, Mets Marlins. Hopefully the Marlins they got back on track. They lost their first 3 games. They got swept by the Mets, and they turn around and win a few games in a row versus they didn't get swept. They beat the Mets 1 game, and then they beat the Twins twice in a row. So they're both sitting at 3 and 4 right now. They'll meet up on Friday. Rangers Cubs, I think it'll be a good series from Wrigley Field. That's going to be the Friday games broadcasted on Apple TV. That's where I got the TV from. So
Nice.
should be interesting. They got Stroman on the mound versus Evaldi. I'm not sure if that's going to stand up, being as though Stroman didn't pitch today. In the postpone. So
I could see him pitching. That's Friday. 2 days.
Yeah, no, can't do that.
Unless I don't see why they wouldn't. They can't fuck rotation up like that. So they can't
because they're not. Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. He can pitch Friday. Makes sense.
Friday, that Mariners Guardians game is going to be good. Lucas Gilbert against Aaron Savali. That's going to be a game.
I was just looking at that.
That's going to be a game.
Mariners are struggling. They're playing pretty good, but they're struggling to find wins. They just lost 2 out of 3 to Ohtani. Ohtani's come out with a bang. We didn't mention his name all episode, but he pitched a good game today and got the win. And his bat's been pretty hot.
Yeah,
so shout out to Shohei. He sure fucking did. He sure fucking did. Hey, we got Padres Braves this weekend.
Oh.
And Blue Jays Angels. I'm excited for those 2 series as well. Now, shout out to the fan of the week. I got this off Instagram. I stole it from a page. I saw it right before we started recording. But as after the Brewers got swept versus the Marlins, they played the Mets and swept the Mets. I said, listen, avoid everything I just said. I don't know why.
I was.
Like, what am I talking about? This is the end of the episode. Listen. The Brewers just swept the Mets, and the Brewers fan was taking a piss in front of everybody right in the middle of the concourse, just free willy-nilly taking a piss right there. Everybody's looking at him like they've seen this before. I guess that's what goes down in Milwaukee, Miller Park. You imagine it's named after a beer company. You gotta be ready to take a piss at any given moment. Another shout out to the MLB and the league for. As a Red Sox fan, I don't like this because I like playing. I do like this. Shout out to the league for letting every team play each other this season. So they started this thing where, every team is going to play each other at least once. And in turn, what that does is it lowers the divisional matchups from 19 games to only 13 games. So you're only going to see your division opponent 13 games this season as opposed to 19. I think that's bigger than people kind of are thinking or looking at it like.
Absolutely.
For better or worse, if you don't want to play that team because they're that good, or if you feel like, hey, we can beat up on this division rival, we should have more opportunity to do that. That's not in play this year. And I hope they keep that format going forward, because we want to see more interleague play, Mets, Red Sox, Mets, Yankees, things like that.
Yes.
Shout out to the league for that. Before we leave, I'll leave you all with this. Dwayne Wade is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Shout out to Dirk Nowitzki, Becky Hammond as well. I want to say, who was the other? It's Wade. Listen, we're here for Wade. All right. Over 16 seasons for the Heat, the Bulls, and the Cavs. We try to forget about the Bulls and the Cavs seasons, okay? He averaged 22 points a game, 5.4 assists, 4.7 rebounds. He played in 1,054 regular season games, and he was selected to play in 13 All-Star games. He won a Finals MVP in 3 of the championships that he has won. All right. He's averaged 33.9, 34 minutes a game, and 38 minutes a game in the playoffs. Talk about, consistency, longevity, talking about amazing defense as a 2 guard, as a 6'4" guy in this league, one of the top blocking guards in the league. I think he's like top 5 in steals per game all time. If you watched him, you watched him go from D Wade to Flash, right, to Father Time. we listen. There was a lot of eras in that D Wade career, and he rose the bar for what Miami Heat basketball means, and for what being an undersized guard in this league, can be. So shout out to Dwayne Wade. Is my favorite player. He's finally in the Hall of Fame, and now I definitely have to make it to that Hall of Fame so I can go see his shrine. So I don't got nothing else. If you got any final thoughts, we'll leave you with it. But
Travis Kelce has the Kelce Jam. I can't believe they let Travis Kelce have his own festival. But I love it, man. He chose his hometown, homie Machine Gun Kelly to headline it. He does have Rick Ross on the bill as well, a couple other people. So and it's draft weekend apparently as well in Kansas City. So yeah, that's
so he's smart. Listen, man, he's got, Rob Gronkowski's doing a Super Bowl weekend party. He's like, we'll do draft weekend. Fuck it.
We're doing a festival.
That's fire. Yeah.
So shouts out Travis Kelce. That's pretty dope for him to do that, man.
Hell yeah. All right, man. So appreciate you again, dog. We'll link back up. If not later this week, who knows? Maybe we get the urge to talk some shit maybe later this week. If not, we'll see you guys next week. We appreciate y'all for listening.